forget to thank my close and good friend Mark. This is Greg in the car, and I look forward to reviewing it. Let's go ahead and get this started.
Alright, so guys, this car belongs to a long-term friend of mine, Mark, who really doesn't want to be in the video. He's a little shy, so no big deal. But he is going to answer some of my questions for me. He's kind enough to do that. So Mark, why don't you tell people a little bit about yourself and why you decided to pick up a Honda Accord V6 Touring?
Well, I owned a 2013 Accord, the 2.4 liter.
And that was a 6-speed manual, correct?
Yeah, 6-speed manual. And with my new job, I commute quite a bit, about an hour and a half one way, so about 3 hours in the car. Anyway, I was getting really tired of stop-and-go traffic in the stick. Something I'd want to drive on the weekend, but not really something to commute in. So picked up an automatic, which was my first requirement.
I gotta tell you, this auto shifts smooth, man. I mean, I'm really happy I talked to you at CVT too. I'm not a fan of the CVT.
I had a couple requirements when I bought this. CVT was definitely a no-go. I wanted a traditional automatic. This has the 6-speed automatic that Honda's used for several years now.
Well, the brakes are nice. Now, I was young, all I cared about was horsepower, but now as I'm getting older, it's like, how many piston brakes do you have? Are these bigger brakes, Mark, than your Honda Accord Sport?
Supposed to be.
Supposed to be?
After looking at them, I couldn't tell that they were any larger. They're supposedly also vented, but I didn't see that either.
Let's take a look. How do they feel, though?
They feel great.
Well, the brakes feel pretty good to me. I think this is a good time to test out its pickup. So for this test, we'll go ahead and put it in sport mode. And I'll ease on into it. Not bad. Front wheel drive always cracks me up.
It goes, man.
Yeah, plenty of pickup. I mean, if you're getting on the highway, you'll have no problem. Now, I know some of the, I don't know if you're aware of this, but I believe some of the newer, more performance-oriented Hondas have either a limited slip. I'm sure somebody's going to correct me if I'm wrong, but it really helps it deliver the torque properly and kind of takes away from that, what would you call it, the front-wheel drive torque steer.
Yeah, torque steer.
That you tend to get. So I don't know, I'm assuming this car...
That's been a complaint about the V6 Accord for a couple years. Is the torque steer of the car, because it's a lot of power going to the front wheels. Owners have said that the wheel tends to pull based on the road surface that you're on.
So let's hit the gas a little bit more again. There we go. Plenty of pickup. Now you said this car had how much horsepower?
278 horsepower.
270?
78.
78. Okay, so basically 280. Yeah. Almost 300 horsepower. Not bad at all. And a sedan like this, it gets up and goes.
252 foot-pounds of torque also. So it's definitely much more torquey than the 2.4 liter inline 4.
But this car has everything. I'm already noticing, lights flashing up about lane departure and all sorts of other flashing lights. So why don't you go ahead and give us a little more details about that?
Well, there's this car comes standard, being the touring trim with the Honda Sensing package, which gives you lane departure warning, that gives you forward collision detection, forward collision avoidance. It gives you there's a system that will warn you if you cross over a dotted line. It's called lane departure warning. If you're crossing over the solid line on the right, I believe it's
so if I don't use my blinker, correct, and I kind of drift over here a little bit.
Yeah, if you drift over, the car will...
Let's drift safely. And I didn't detect it there.
No, it has to be. Sometimes the lines, it depends on what's going on, but it should do it.
It popped up earlier.
You might have gone.
I'm a little bit of a drifter. I always get yelled at by the girl. Like I'm always hugging lines.
Yeah.
Now that's also really cool. So I put on my blinker, your mirrors have cameras, and it pops up right here on the display.
Yeah, below the passenger side mirror, you have the LaneWatch camera, which automatically turns on with the blinker, with the right-hand turn blinker, to give you a view of your blind spot without having to look over your right shoulder. Also, you can hit the button on the end of the left stick, which will turn on for like merging on the right-hand side of the car.
Yeah, we'll test this out again. And here's also a good opportunity to see how your car handles without going crazy. We're not in a racetrack here. This is, for front-wheel drive, this is impressive. Very impressive, actually. Man, no drama, no nothing.
Yeah,
Let's use that power again to get on. Now, me personally, I've always worried that a lot of the safety technology and all the safety equipment would just bother me, like just piss me off. Does it get on your nerves at all?
the lane departure gets a little annoying sometimes, especially being a New Jersey driver. There's construction all over the place, so you have lines that are painted one week and then changed the next week. So sometimes I'll be driving down my lane as I'm supposed to, and there'll be like a phantom line that used to go in a different direction because of construction, and the car will bitch at me and shake the wheel and flash the windshield with the warning lights and all that stuff, and that gets a little annoying, but that's really no fault of the car. It's just driving here in New Jersey.
Yeah, or crappy.
A lot of people seem to like the LaneWatch camera. I think it's okay.
I like it. I'll tell you what, because like I said earlier, I don't really care for all the safety stuff. I like that.
I'm a big fan of the LED headlights, high beams, low beams. Big fan of that. They're really, really white, really crisp light. My only complaint is that reflective signs seem to be almost blinding behind the LED headlights, which is a little strange. I didn't get that with the halogens or the projectors that I had.
Or I mean, you've had HIDs
I've had
too.
HIDs on a 2005 350Z. And these are headlights I feel are actually like a whiter, cleaner light. But again, with the reflective signs on the road, it's almost blinding. It's a little strange. It's something I didn't expect. The car also, for 2016, this is the first Honda to come equipped standard with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay.
Are those just apps you could download, or?
No, they tie directly into your phone and give you basically your phone here on the touchscreen. Also, one thing I will say is I hate infotainment systems. I even hate the damn word infotainment. But this car does a very good job with it. It's not slow. It's very, very quick. It's very responsive to touch. It's a great infotainment system as far as infotainment systems go. My only gripe, I think, is this car doesn't have a traditional volume knob. It's just these touch-sensitive buttons here on the side, which are okay. You do still have volume button there on the left-hand side of the steering wheel. You do have everything right there at your fingertips on the steering wheel. But yes, that is my one and only complaint really about the infotainment system, is that there's no traditional volume knob.
I mean, overall, I love this car. I think it's a great buy. I think it's a very fun, practical, everyday car. You know,
I think it fills fills a little bit of every requirement nicely for me. It's powerful. It's
efficient.
It's efficient.
What kind of miles per gallon are you getting?
Well, with the way John's been driving, you'll see that it's averaging 26.7, which is actually pretty horrendous for this car for how I drive it. I do a lot of highway.
Not horrendous
commuting.
by my standards.
No, but I do a lot of highway commuting, and my last tank, I believe I averaged 34.6 miles per gallon with how much highway I drive. Now, one thing that helps achieve that is Honda's variable cylinder management.
That was shocking news to me.
At any given point, I'm sure this car has switched into 3-cylinder mode numerous times while John's been driving it, and probably has not noticed it.
No?
There's no heads-up display indication whatsoever, and you really can't tell. Honda's done a very good job of making the transition from 6 to 3 and then from 3 to 6 again completely seamless. The driver has really no idea at all that you're back in a 3-cylinder mode. The moment you step on the throttle, it becomes responsive. It kicks in the 6 cylinders again.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier, and it's very impressive.
It's in 3-cylinder mode right now.
Yeah, it basically just shuts off a bank of your cylinders. Well, I mean, the cylinders are obviously still working. It's just they're not sending fuel to them. So obviously, that would be really bad if they just weren't moving.
Yeah, there's a something about there's a cam rocker that disengages on one of the banks of cylinders and stops feeding fuel to those 3 cylinders on that one side of the motor. The other 3 are still firing away, and you get a great increase in fuel efficiency when the car is in 3-cylinder mode.
I love that technology. At first, it was kind of sketchy sounding to me, but more I think about it, even with my car, which I will be doing a review with my 2015 Charger Scat Pack, it having a pretty thirsty 6.4 liter, I love the fact that it shuts off 4 cylinders. Matter of fact, I wish I had a button I could just push it and it just stays like that when I'm on the highway. When I don't need 485 horsepower, or when you don't need almost 300 horsepower. It's just your car doesn't need a ton of power to cruise on the highway. So I love that technology.
I told you the 2013 I had really handled very well.
It's very direct. I love it.
Planted, you point the nose and the car follows. It's just.
And I'm not no one like Jeremy Clarkson. There's plenty of cars I haven't driven, but I've driven some decent handling cars. I've driven Corvette Z06s. My girlfriend has a WRX, and that thing is by far one of the best handling cars I've personally driven. But this thing, just for like an everyday car, to get to work, to keep yourself comfortable, it handles very well. Alright guys, that about wraps up our review. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't already, please click like and subscribe if you like the video and you're interested in more car reviews. I had a blast, and I want to thank my good friend Mark here. I know this isn't a Ferrari, but to Mark it's a big deal that somebody drives his car. He's very particular about his cars.
That is true.
Matter of fact, he keeps a microfiber towel in his vehicle to keep up with the dash and the dust. So this is a big deal to him, and I really appreciate it. So, alright guys, take care and have a great night.